The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as Princess Megara entered. Her scaled armor gleamed like molten copper under the artificial lights, and her crimson eyes swept across the assembled delegates with barely concealed contempt. The dragon, Imperium's most formidable warrior, had arrived, and even the battle-hardened Krill generals shifted uneasily in their seats. "The human colony on Epsilon 7 must be destroyed," Megara declared, her voice echoing through the vast chamber. "They have violated the sacred grounds of my people." Ambassador Thexlon of the Krill Dominion nodded eagerly. "The Council supports your claim, Princess. Humans are reckless, emotional creatures. They understand neither honor nor tradition." Megara's clawed hand slammed against the holographic display, causing it to flicker. "They desecrated my mother's grave? For this, their settlement will burn." The Council approved her request within minutes. After all, who would dare oppose the Dragon Princess? She had single-handedly destroyed the Zarian fleet at the Battle of Crimson Nebula. She had brought the proud Saurian Empire to its knees. Her reputation was built on the ashes of civilizations that had crossed her path within a solar cycle. Megara's warship, the Inferno's Wrath, hung in orbit above Epsilon 7. The human colony was small, barely 3,000 souls trying to terraform the barren world. They had no military installations, no defense grid. It would be like crushing insects beneath her heel. "Prepare the plasma cannons," Megara commanded from her throne-like captain's chair. "I want—" "Princess," her tactical officer interrupted nervously. "We're receiving a transmission from the surface. A single human is requesting permission to board." Megara's eyes narrowed. "They dare?" He says he has something that belongs to you." Curiosity stayed Megara's hand. She had expected pleas for mercy, desperate negotiations, perhaps even a pathetic attempt at resistance. But this, bring him aboard. "But if this is a trick, I'll vaporize their colony myself." "Yes, Princess," the officer finished. Having heard this threat countless times, the human was brought to her throne room in restraints, though Megara noted he made no attempt to resist. He was unremarkable by human standards: average height, dark hair, wearing simple colonist clothing. His name, her guards informed her, was Hercules. "You have 60 seconds to explain why I shouldn't incinerate your entire species from this planet," Megara said. Her voice dripping with venom. Hercules met her gaze without flinching. "Because I came to return something you lost." From his jacket pocket he carefully withdrew a small object wrapped in cloth. As he unfolded the fabric, Megara's breath caught in her throat. It was a flower. But not just any flower, a Draconis Eternus, the rare blossom that grew only on her homeworld, the same type her mother had loved, the same type that had been planted on her grave 3 cycles ago. Its petals shimmered with an iridescent purple glow, unmistakable and impossible to replicate. "How did you ... Megara's voice faltered, her usual commanding tone cracking. "A windstorm hit last week," Hercules explained quietly. "It was powerful enough to uproot several things, including this. I found it near our agricultural dome. When I saw the marker it came from, I realized what I'd found." Megara rose from her throne, her massive form towering over the human. You went to my mother's grave?" "Not intentionally. The storm scattered a lot of debris. But when I found the flower and saw the inscription on the grave marker nearby, I knew it was important. I've lost my mother, too. I understand what a grave means." "You could have kept it," Megara said, her claws extending involuntarily. "You could have thrown it away. Your people were about to die. Why would you waste time on this?" Hercules looked at the flower in his hands, then back at Megara. "Because some things matter more than survival. My mother taught me that respect for the dead transcends everything: species, politics, even war. When I realized this flower came from a mother's grave, I knew I had to return it, no matter what happened to me." For the first time in decades, Megara felt something other than rage. The armor she had built around her heart, forged from loss, duty, and countless battles, began to crack. "You humans," she whispered, taking the flower with trembling claws. "You're supposed to be barbarians, destroyers, that's what everyone says. People say a lot of things about dragons too, Hercules replied softly. They say you're monsters without mercy. But a monster wouldn't have planted flowers on her mother's grave. Megara turned away, clutching the blossom to her chest. Her officers stood frozen, having never seen their princess display anything resembling vulnerability. Actual tears formed in her fearsome eyes. The council will demand an explanation, she said finally. I came here for vengeance. And you found something else instead, Hercules said. Sometimes that's how peace starts. Megara was silent for a long moment. Then she activated her command console. All ships, stand down. Cancel bombardment protocols. Princess? Her tactical officer gasped. But the desecration. There was no desecration, Megara said firmly, her voice regaining its strength. There was a natural disaster and a human who understood honor better than half the species in the Galactic Council. She turned to Hercules. Your colony will have the Dragon Imperium's protection. Anyone who threatens Epsilon 7 will answer to me. Hercules bowed respectfully. Thank you, Princess. No, Megara said, looking at the flower, her last connection to her mother, returned by the most unlikely person imaginable. Thank you. As Hercules was escorted back to the transport, Megara stood alone in her throne room. The most feared warrior in the galaxy, brought to her knees not by weapons or armies, but by a simple act of compassion from a species everyone had underestimated. Perhaps, she thought, humanity's greatest weapon wasn't their resilience or their technology. Perhaps it was their stubborn insistence on treating others as they wished to be treated. Even when facing certain death, the Dragon Princes carefully placed the Draconis Eternus in a preservation chamber, then sent a message to the Galactic Council. The human matter is resolved. They are under my protection. Any objections can be directed to me personally. No objections came.